What's going on, guys? My last video, if you watched, about the red truck, the $200 brick nose, I broke my trailer, some things on the tongue, so I'm gonna start working on that. I really want to just completely rehab this trailer. You can see it behind me, some of the work's already done, but I use this trailer all the time. I've had it for years. I actually built this trailer. It looked really rough when I bought it. It was like basically just a shell. I stripped it all the way down to the side beams, put new everything on it, and that was like 7 years ago. So we're going to tear it apart. I'm going to do a bunch of work to it, and you will see how that goes, starting with replacing the junction box that we broke in the last video. So me being lazy, trying to pull this back with the forks, the fork slipped off the bottom and hit my little trailer box here and broke the mounting ears off of it. I mean, you can see the same thing happened to my trailer breakaway box, and it's held on with couple giant zip ties, some baling wire, and a hose clamp. So I just hate having ghetto stuff on my trailers like that, so I'll have to find a way to fix this. I could take a piece of PVC or something and run it to those mounting ears, and then screw this box, take this cover off and screw this box into that PVC. I may do that. I guess I'll go see if I have a scrap piece of PVC big enough. That one might be big enough. We'll see. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is bolt this little strip on, just holding that on. Because this is somewhat brittle plastic, I'm going to go ahead and use this to pre-drill my holes through this plastic case. And I think I'll go ahead and put screws in to hold that in place while I drill the other two holes. I'm going to try and do 2 screws in each end. All right, so that's secured in a non-ghetto way, which makes me feel better. All right, that's nice and tight. Wish I had enough of that material. I'd do the same thing with this battery box, but that box is pretty much destroyed and those aren't too expensive, so I may just buy another one. Or I may replace it completely, because I'm actually thinking about adding an electric winch to the front of this trailer, or at least adding a receiver hitch here so I can slide one in. All right, so we were talking about this flatbed trailer. I've been doing some stuff to it here. A couple other things I want to do, but I did want to show you just a few things. This trailer came with these stake pockets, and it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the sides, and then these 2 on the front. But every time I strap a car on here, I'm always wanting to go to the sides. When you run those through your front pockets, you know, if you have a full-size truck on here, your front axle is going to be right here. So I had this channel left over from the dump trailer project, and I went ahead and cut it and welded it to give me a couple pockets on the corners, and that's exactly where I want them to be when I'm hauling like a nice long truck like that regular cab long bed. And then while I was at it, I went ahead and cut a square out here, and I took this that's an old receiver tube I had here, like off of a tow hitch, and I took that and welded it into this front. And this is really sturdy channel, so I think that's a good winch mount. So on the back, same deal. Chain pocket stops right here, or your stake pockets, whatever you call them. And I wanted to tie stuff down a lot further back than that, so I had more room to keep the load from shifting fore and aft. So I cut some more pieces of that. I think it's 5-inch channel, which, as you can see, you go from your stock factory stake pockets. This one's a little bent, and that needs probably beat back in and welded back on. But to these, I mean, you really don't notice a huge difference, but these are actually thicker and sturdier, and I know they're welded on better. And then I added 2 more all the way back here, because these are great for X-strapping back. And that's what I ended up doing with that F-150. So that's just a few updates I made to this thing. This thing is dirty. The paint is chipping. I think I'm going to strip it down and paint it to match my red truck. Maybe once the weather gets consistently warmer. Another thing I did is I like to use what they call captive boards, which is where you get green lumber and you flex them in and snap them. And as you can see, they're held under this angle in the back, and they're held under this angle at the front. And the only thing that really requires is, like in this case, I welded in this extra piece of flat bar in the front just to capture them. So these have no bolts. I don't have to drill any holes. I don't have any hardware holding these bolts down. But the downside is, as your boards shrink, they will rattle around. You see this is actually loose. It'll wiggle side to side. So I also welded in these small pieces of, that's like, I don't know, 3/16 scrap that I had. I welded them in on each side. There's one over there too. And that just keeps the boards from shifting side to side. My concern was, because this is such a gap here on the sides, that if you had a piece of equipment on here and as you hit bumps, it wiggled a hole in that a tire could drop through, which would let your straps loosen up. So hopefully the next time you see this trailer, we will be stripping it apart and repainting it red. We got the whole trailer washed. I don't think I'm going to pull the wiring. It's just too much of a pain. I'd have to actually cut the connectors to pass it back through. So I grommeted every single one of these connections back when I made this trailer. And I guess that's all going to get painted because it's really just too much of a pain to remove it all. The good news is the underside of this trailer, I did this trailer 7 years ago, 8 years ago. That was when I built it. This thing looks really good. There's no major, I don't even see any surface rust anywhere. It's in very good shape. So this despite me using it all winter. One thing I want to address before I paint this, this has always been a problem. I built these boxes from scratch. I bought a bunch of flat steel and expanded mesh. And it's actually really hard to find expanded mesh if you don't have like a really good steel store close to you. And even then, like what they stock, what the local place that sells stock here, sells steel here is really crappy. So I think, I can't remember how I ended up with this, but I have this bigger, heavier gauge stuff on the bottom, and then I use lighter gauge stuff on the sides. And the problem is the lighter gauge stuff has smaller holes, which is what I need. But the heavier gauge stuff I built the bottom out of. If you're driving down the road, like this is 3/8 inch chain, which is pretty big chain. And as you hit these bumps, it works its way through. And then when you go to pull it out, it's pretty much locked in there. And the only way to get it out is to feed it through from the bottom. And it's a huge pain in the butt. And it'll do it halfway through the link. So sometimes you'll pull a chain out and you'll have 2 or 3 pieces of links drop through and you have to feed them out. And it's just, it has to stop. So I'm gonna double this up with some other type of material. And I'll see what I have laying around. And I wanna weld that in before I paint this. I have this headache rack that I could sell complete, or I could just, I don't know, you know, I get stuff like that and I keep it around because I might use it. Let's pull that headache rack out of here and see what it looks like. All right, so man, the price of steel with the, I guess with everything going crazy, 24 by 24, which is what it would take to do those boxes, $39.99 each. That is insane. That's from Tractor Supply we have here in town. I just don't feel like running to the other town where the metal store is. It's like an hour away. And then I see stuff like this on Marketplace, headache rack. That one's looks crappy. It says 45 bucks. I don't even think that's close to me. Yeah, that guy's in Tennessee. He just has it listed for shipping, so he doesn't know what's going on. But I do see ones listed around me for like $50 to $100. So I'm thinking, since this needs work anyway, for $80 trying to buy new steel, we're just going to cut this up and we'll use it doubled up against what's there, and hopefully that'll work. Got this metal cut out, it's free, and I just need a pattern of the bottom. And I thought the easiest way to do that would just be to mark it on a sheet of this heavy craft paper. I got those tacked in. Working with expanded mesh is a pain in the butt. You always gotta surround your material with a bunch of little tacks, but those are in there. That adds strength to the bottom, which is nice. And as you can see, just about all these holes have another piece of mesh laid over them. So that chain is not going to be able to drop down through those holes anymore, which is exactly what I was looking for. I just tired of chasing chain.
Final production.
I thought about tipping this up with my big my gantry crane here and trying to do the underside, but I just thought I had both the kids here and that was going to turn into like probably a dumpster fire really quickly. The kids are great, they love to help, and I love to have them help. I hope that they're learning as they do it, but it's definitely a much bigger handful for Dad. So anyway, paint sprayer turned out great. Now I just got to put everything back together. What's up, guys? Trailer's completely painted. I think it looks great. It's a little bit brighter than the red on my truck, but this is Rust-Oleum paint, so it'll probably fade quite a bit even by the end of this summer. It fades pretty quickly, and then once it kind of fades to a slightly darker color, it usually stays that way. The orange that was on it before was that tractor paint from Tractor Supply, and it faded just as bad as the Rust-Oleum, so I figured the Rust-Oleum was the way to go. Anyway, I'm going to get the deck boards back on this, and then just a couple little other odds and ends, and this redo is going to be completely done. So I will slide the deck boards in, and then I will show you how I use like a pry bar and a piece of wood to get those captive boards popped back underneath of these pieces of steel. All right, so I choose to reuse this existing decking, even though I was kind of redoing this trailer. It's in really good shape, and with the price of lumber right now, redecking it would have cost a lot more than it would have even a year ago. I did flip this one 2x4 because it had a bow to it this way, and that side had a deep gouge in it, so that's why I didn't flip it over. I think it looks good. Just got a couple other things to finish up on this. All right, I got a couple things to do here on the tongue. I'm gonna try not to get in the way so much so you can see what I'm doing. I taped this off, so I have to pull that tape off. This is where our mounting box that we worked on earlier mounts to, and then this is my trailer ground, and I have painted it over because I forgot to tape it off. All right, so that old battery box was really broken, and that battery was 7 or 8 years old, so I decided to get a replacement. I was going to buy one online. This is interesting, a 4-pin connector. I was going to buy one online, and then I found this at my local surplus store. We got 2 holes lining up. This is a Takansha, which is a pretty good name brand, and these are nice. They're automatic. You push the button, it'll tell you if it's good, and it just uses your standard 3 wires like they all do. So the only challenge with this is that the old one was had a sideways door, and this one has a top door, which should actually be sturdier for my application because it's on mounting it. But it looks like my studs are spaced too far apart for this. I need to wire up these 3 wires. They will intercept. It looks like I will have enough wire to run these hopefully all the way in the box and not have to splice. That would be a lot cleaner. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then the front of the trailer will be done. I got the coupler painted nice and glossy black. I went and spray painted the chains red, the hooks red. They were black before, but I figured red, you could hook them back to this and then it wouldn't mar the paint. Alright guys, so in this video you've seen me basically completely redo the formerly orange trailer, which I've always called the orange trailer. I guess now I'll have to start calling it the red trailer. So you can see everything's kind of back together. The decking's on, the junction box is fixed, it's got a new breakaway box, and everything's repainted. I did go ahead and paint my wheels. Because this video has been so long, that's going to be a separate video. And there's one more thing I need to do here that I haven't done. This is really loose because these bolts they're just not quite big enough. So I need to take these into the hardware store, get the neck size up, and then drill through. And once I do that, I'll have to repaint this red so it doesn't rust where I drill it. But everything else is done. I'm gonna work on putting together, hi Charlie, I'm gonna work on putting together the video of me painting the wheels, which is something that I was definitely outside of my comfort zone, and I think it turned out really well. So I'm not gonna show you that because I don't want to ruin how that video turns out, but I think they turned out really well, and I really like the way the trailer looks. It's nice to have something that you can be proud of. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please comment, let me know if you like the longer videos or if you'd rather see these broke into shorter videos. I was kind of on the fence between making it a couple 15-minute videos with the different things I was repairing, or doing one video that was like 30-45 minutes that kind of tried to edit everything in. The downside is I can't show as much when I make it into a longer video because I'm kind of compressing each little project, like the junction box repair or the breakaway box install. I'm compressing them all into short little bits so that they fit in a longer video. But from the comments I've got, people don't seem to like the talking as much. They want to see more just project progress. So you comment, let me know what you like to see. But she looks great, doesn't she? And I'll have a winch to go in the receiver mount really soon. That's almost finished, and that'll be another video that I'll be uploading soon. So, and then I don't even think I made a video about this thing yet. That's an entirely different story. And yes, I need to mow. We switched to a new schedule at work. I just got held, so I worked a 37-hour shift, and it was pretty miserable, to be honest with you, but I guess it's a regular thing now since it's my second one in 3 weeks. So I haven't even had time to do the mowing, but all right, well, the dogs are running and I have other stuff to do. So thank you guys for your support, and Clay and I are going to see you on the next video. See you guys.